Don't speak robot.
That's amazing.
Clever.
Sorry,
You
dude.
put that in your binary
Have you heard
to ASCII converter.
There you go.
And see what it says.
Have you heard the...
Does it say something?
John
I don't
Mulaney
know.
bit?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard the John
Probably says
Mulaney bit
fuck.
on his new special about how you spend all your time proving or telling other computers that you're not robots?
Yeah.
Prove you're not a robot.
Prove to me.
Is it an E or is it a 3? Look
Is
at
this
that
a traffic light?
squiggly letter.
That's funny.
Uh,
All right. You want to start this one, Jason?
yeah, sure.
All right.
Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is Matt Becker, and as always, I'm joined by...
John Holzer.
Matt Becker. I'm Greg Daigle, actually.
We're all Matt Becker.
We all have a little Matt Becker in us. In my butt.
A little Becker in us.
In my butt.
Okay.
Put a little Matt Becker
In your butt.
in your butt.
And we're joined by Rick Smets from Stereo Brewing Company out of Anaheim.
Stereo
Anaheim?
We're actually in
Placentia?
Placentia,
Okay.
Anaheim Hills area. In Placentia, Yorba Linda, Anaheim Hills.
Right by the
Anaheim.
91 and the 55, if you find your way around there.
Yeah,
Stumble
right where the
in.
91 and the 55 meet. Got
Cool.
the old Kaiser.
And you
Where my
brought
daughter was born.
another beer today for us to
I do have another
enjoy.
beer for you to enjoy today. I started this story earlier, but he's like, we're not recording.
So now we're recording.
We are recording. This is our Imperial Red Ale. It's called Robot. It's a neat story. I was working at Firestone Walker as a shift brewer, and just getting my job done. And a friend of mine there was running the lab, and he came out one day, and he just out of the blue, Smets. He loved to just Smets. I know what you need to call your brewery. And I was like, what? And he's like, Robot. I just looked at him blank, and she's like, not Robot Brewing, not Robot Brewing Company, not the brewery Robot, just Robot. And I was
Okay.
like, you know what, Jim? Probably not. But
Jim Crooks?
Jim Crooks, yeah. Sour Jim from...
We know
guys,
Jim well.
yeah. Probably not, but I will name a beer after it. And so we named our flagship Robot. We knew we wanted that before Stereo Brewing Company was even in effect. And we just made this big double... red, big
Would you
Imperial
call it
Red.
an Imperial Red?
It's an Imperial Red.
Imperial?
Mm-hmm.
It's Imperial.
Imperial. There's no such thing as triple.
That's how you know
just-
it's good. It's Imperial.
It is Imperial.
Dun, 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 dun.
So and that it does have a small sense of fun doom with the artwork. You know, he is destroying the city to get to the stereo beer here.
I see. That's why.
And then
Robots drink robot beer.
It grabbed a really cool following for us in our tap room, but it sucks to make. It's just so hard and so much
Really?
to do. Yeah, it's just
Why?
it's just a huge, complicated grain bill, which it shouldn't be, but it is. And
Is it like sticky mash or something?
It's
or?
it's lots and lots of crystal malt, and then hop edition after hop edition after hop edition after hop edition. Like every 5 minutes, you're throwing in more hops, and then
Okay.
when you're trying to manage that, you still have to clean the mash tun and pull out all the mash and hose that all down because you don't clean that right away, it's going to get sticky in there.
If
Yeah,
only
yeah.
you had a robot,
If only I had a robot.
to a Boston Dynamics robot
And
that
so,
It could jump on top of.
could do flips.
Brewbot 5000, activate, hop edition, hop edition, hop edition.
Robot
Mash.
trap!
Like it's
Mash
impressive.
again.
It's impressive what those Boston Dynamics robots can do, but all they seem to do. I mean,
Move box.
all they seem to do is walk like people. It sounds. I'm so jaded at this, but it's like, oh, you're just walking, and I'm going to take back everything I just said because it's stupid. Because that's the whole point.
I think maybe if the brewery had like pusher robots,
Pusher
I think
robots. definitely.
pushing is the answer.
Keep grandma safe.
You push grandma down to the stairs.
Pack chewy oomph.
I thought that was an Amazon reference. Like you have pusher robots in the
No,
warehouses.
no, we have shover robots.
You have what?
Shover robots.
Shover?
Pusher and shover.
They shove grandma out into the snow.
Okay,
Actually, we have tuggers,
I am protected.
but they're not robots. They're just forklifts.
that's sexy. Tuggers.
Yeah,
Tuggers?
yeah, literally, it's a forklift called the tugger. It's like it's not a forklift though. It's like it tows
Just
like a little
tugs
fucking
ya.
train of shit.
Got it.
Like you have a train of little wheeled carts, and it's like
You stick
called
your
the
penis
tugger.
in.
It runs
and
a
then
train.
One out of
Yeah.
every 500 tugs, it like rips your
Okay, we're-
penis off. Anyways.
back,
track.
we're
talking about robots, man.
You're the one that brought robots into this.
Phallus returns to Four Brewers.
It never left.
I really wish that I was able to bring you the freshest batch. The freshest batch right now is in the tank. It's just been cold crashed, and we're going to can it again. This is from the last canning, and it's quite a while ago. It's held up really well in the can. That it's 9.5% alcohol helps. That there's a tremendous amount of hops in it helps. And that we filter it through a DE filter so that it's as clear from any sort of yeast or any sort of biocontaminant as possible.
Diatomaceous earth, right? That's DE.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We actually use perlite instead of diatomaceous earth because I care about my staff.
Why do you say that?
Diatomaceous. Do you know what a diatom is?
Yeah.
Okay, diatom is like a super microscopic piece of sharp glass in all directions. Perlite is a soft little rock that's crushed into a powder. And I still make them wear masks and all kind of protective wear,
but it's not as fine as.
It's not as fine, and it's not as literally deadly.
So it's basically like the equivalent of like asbestos. Basically, you can breathe it and it will hurt you.
Diatomaceous earth.
Yeah.
Yes, you never breathe it out. It's like glass shards.
Yeah.
Just like it's terrible.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
but it does make for awesomely clear beer.
Yeah.
So, but we don't choose to use that. But yes, we still use a DE filter. We just use perlite instead, and we push it through. And it's like I said, this is the very hazy. This is actually the very last can, and it's only I just brought it because we won the silver medal at GABF
for
this beer.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
For Imperial Red
How many
Ale.
medals have you won?
We've won 3 so far in 2 years.
That's great. Awesome.
Not bad.
Yeah, the first time I had this was at Greg's house, I believe. Was it after? Was it Frick
It was
Fest,
after Vegan Fair.
Oh,
Vegan
that's what
Fest.
it was. Yeah, it was a long day for me. And the first impression I got from it at that time was like it was a baby arrogant bastard kind of thing. Not as harsh as arrogant bastard.
It's like arrogant bastard with like all the edges kind of like.
Yeah, that's why I said baby arrogant bastard. It was a more.
I would say
it was a
approachable
round-
bastard, but I'm pretty sure that janky contract brewery in Orange County is making a beer literally called that.
Someone actually is.
Yeah, Evans or whatever the fuck.
I'm
those
not.
guys?
something like that. I don't know.
They're kind of local, I guess. I don't want to take a swing at them. But
they brew at where Bayhawk used to make beer. And
they're the old Bayhawk people.
Yep.
But after having it again, I still get that vibe from it. It's for an Imperial Red. I think it's on the hoppy side, on the bitter side, which I love, and that's why I think I got that arrogant bastard vibe from it. But it's not as sharp and like the big heavy crystal malts, and it's that beer is very blocky to me. Where this is very rounded out and like caramely. It's definitely more caramely, more sweet, I think, than Arrogant Bastard do. Not that I shouldn't be comparing to Arrogant
This
Bastard.
doesn't have the bitter punch.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point with Arrogant Bastard, right? Yeah.
But it's bitter, but it's not a fuck you bitter.
Yeah, I was telling Rick on the way over here, this beer on paper, I don't necessarily know if I would ever have bought like 9.5 Imperial Red Ale. Maybe 10 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, that's going in my fridge, dude. But for whatever reason, this beer, I bought a 4-pack of it because I was like, I need to take home something to drink tonight. And I poured it in my glass and I was like, fuck, it's got a sexy little pillowy head on top. It's kind of nice and red and pretty looking. And then
I think I'm going to fuck this robot
I'm going
tonight.
to stick my dick in it. And no.
Stick its dick in me.
And I just find myself like intrigued by it. It was like one of those beers that was perplexing in a way. Like, I know I should hate this, but I'm still drinking it and I don't know why because it's so good. And then I went back and bought more of it, and then I bought more of it, and then that's when I think I had you taste with.
Okay,
like, dude, you got to try this beer. Like, fuck, am I crazy? And then I went to metal. I was like, fuck, I guess I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
I like that part.
I think the big red ale is a kind of becoming a slightly lost style. I think a lot of breweries that used to do them well either aren't doing them anymore. Or they've kind of fallen out of popularity as much. Like Evil Dead Red was, when I was getting into craft beer, one of my like absolute favorite beers, and it used to be kind of a big deal when that beer came out. And now it's just kind of like,
if I see, it's not a big deal, but when I see it, I do buy it.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised though. Like, it's not a big deal on social media. It's not a big deal out there with the traders. It's not a big deal with the new generation of beer drinkers. But I sell the shit out of this beer.
Yeah,
people come in and they love it. And right now, it's not on tap. Otherwise, I would have brought it. It's going to be on tap in just like 4 days. And people are fucking pissed.
A fun example of pallets, right? So I work right near a brewery, Ritual. We've mentioned them a bunch in Redlands.
Oh, I'm great friends with Owen.
Yeah. And so for a little while, Ritual co-located the Corona guys, Main Street, when Main Street was shut down for a little bit.
Fantastic.
So there is this like 6 or 8 person contingent of people that work with me that would just drink the Main Street Triple, and that was like their absolute favorite beer. They would come in, if it was out, they were mad. And when Main Street moved out, they like were always just like, why are we even going over there now? And it was just like they. And if you were to say, oh yeah, what's somebody's favorite beer in here? Oh yeah, the Triple. Like nobody cares about a Triple, but you know what? These people that I know, it's been like a year since they've had it, and they're still just like, man, I miss that Triple though.
That's why you just go to a homebrew shop and fucking brew a Triple.
You know, we made a T-shirt of this label because I loved it. Just loved the label. Yeah, Greg has one, and
it's a really cool label.
People just they fucking love it, and it just makes me feel. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel great.
I take that.
It's a great beer,
I mean,
man.
I often just assume that just because I'm not drinking a certain style, most people aren't, but that's not the case because these beers are on shelves still. People are still buying them. It's just not me that's buying them. And if people weren't buying them, then these places wouldn't sell that beer.
Here's the hardest part is getting people to, just like Greg said, he would not have bought this beer if he didn't personally know me, come to my brewery and be someone that
doing my homework.
I got to be honest, I wouldn't have bought it either.
Just
because I don't want to drink an Imperial Red Ale.
9.5.
You think about that and you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting from this, and this just doesn't sound good right now.
Right, but that's the hardest part is getting people to understand that that's not this
It's a trust issue.
Yeah.
To be honest, the biggest reason I wouldn't buy a 9% Imperial Red Ale is because I want to have 2 beers. And if I'm drinking 9%, I can only have 1 beer.
Yeah.
So
I've taken home 2.
Really? No, yeah. Take 2 down, dude. It's gonna be all right.
Smaller glassware, bro.
More like I want to have 4 beers. And if I drink 9%, then that's like it is 2 beers. Basically.
Dude, I drank 2 of these once in one night, and I was feeling good.
Not
was
Black
feeling no
Tuesday.
pain.
Greg's like, I drank 3 of them. I
Battlefield
closed
good.
one eye and I drove home just fine.
Well, let me. If you guys want to come down for the day that we can it, these do get shotgunned.
That's insane.
That sounds fun.
I've
do.
never shotgunned a beer, by the way.
Can I crash at your house, Greg?
Maybe I could pop
We
my
have
cherry.
a couch at the brewery.
And it's really clean there, so you can just sleep on the floor.
That's right.
Sure.
It's true.
Yeah,
You
great.
shotgun enough of them.
This is a great beer. We sent this beer to the Beerists. They're a podcast out of Austin, Texas, and they sent us some beers. We did a show with their beers a while back, and this was part of the beers we sent, and they gave it good reviews. I don't know if you heard that show.
I did listen to it. I was tickled, man. They gave us
Yeah.
a really great review, and that I was thankful for Greg for sending it out to him, and I was
John actually did.
stoked that they got the opportunity to try it, and
Yeah.
that then it was very fresh because it was we released it during our summer tour, so Greg was coming in every Thursday to have our summer tour beer, and then he would just look at it and be like,
Gotta come home
I'll also
something.
take a 4-pack home,
Fuck yeah, bro.
and then
Now it's a must buy.
Yeah.
and so I don't know.
That was the one beer that we sent them that I was most interested in hearing their opinion on, because it's an Imperial Red Ale.
You have
and
no
I think
idea.
even they were like, okay, it's
All right.
that's
When they
Don't see a lot of
when
these.
they started the podcast, they were like, "Well, I mean, I guess if this is pretty 1996."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, fuck, thanks, guys."
But
and
that's
then
what you're up against with Beer Geeks. It's like, oh, an Imperial Red Ale, great. And then
It's
they
real
drank
talk,
it,
man.
and they're like, oh, this
this
is
is great.
really good.
Yeah.
So I was happy to hear that.
Cool.
So great beer, dude.
Great. Well, hey, thanks for sharing it with me.
Yeah.
So I hear that a local holiday is coming up, and I think we've got Santa's going to drop us off a few beers.
Ring, ding-a-ling, ring, ding-a-ling, ring, ding-a-ling.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I couldn't hit that
Was that
lower note.
Greg?
I couldn't hit the lower note.
Dude,
yeah.
that was pretty good. Yeah.
It's
Merry Christmas, guys.
beers.
All right.
So I guess this is my show, and
John's show. Tell
I
us,
decided to do Christmas beer.
tell us about what you bought.
Okay. Mainly, I wanted to have Anchor's Merry Christmas.
Me too.
and
Thank you for
Happy New
having
Year.
it. Thank you for having. We weren't even sure we were going to do this show, and we agreed that this beer had to come
Let's
out.
just start with this beer. Fuck it.
Oh, that's such a great beer.
So this beer, every year, the recipe's slightly different. They tweak it a little bit, but it's what to get, or you know what you're going to get from this beer every year
Some
when
sort
it
of
comes
Well,
out.
the
malty,
beauty is
spicy
that you're not exactly sure what you're going to get, so you always have this great expectation, and it has very, very rarely have I not had that expectation fulfilled
Yeah.
or surpassed.
But I think as far as like a baseline expectation from this beer, you know what you're going to get. Like flavor wise, it's pretty much always the same ish, and that's why I like it because this came out in October. I think the beginning of October this year, and I don't care about like holiday creep at all. Like if you want to have pumpkin beers out in July, I don't give a shit. I like pumpkin beer. I buy pumpkin beer. I'll buy it in
I'm
July.
going to go on a little bit of a rant here. I'm super irritated by people who are offended at the notion that they are offered the ability to buy something when they are not ready to buy it.
Yeah.
Just fucking buy it later then.
Yeah, just buy it later.
Like, why are you selling pumpkin beer in July? If you don't want it, don't buy it. Fucking, why are you offended at the notion that they're selling a product at the wrong
I'm
time?
just offended
Eat
at
shit.
Christmas music in grocery stores and everywhere I go.
Even that, I could not care less.
I
go to Home
hear it.
Depot during Thanksgiving, and if
hear
I see
it.
a Christmas tree, it's fine.
The tree is fine. It's the music
Yeah, whatever.
for like 2 months.
I'm with you.
I get it, but
I'm
I
with
don't
you
care.
specifically just on that one Paul McCartney Christmas song. I hate that fucking song.
Which song is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I don't know that song.
It's like simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, you guys do that
Fucking
well.
real shit. Yeah, we're just gonna fucking acapella do.
The best
I
part
always do
is that you
alternative
just said how
lyrics
much
for
you
it.
hate it and you just performed it.
Yeah, now it's all in your brain.
How I get over the Christmas
like
music
The
creep
Ring.
is just to make up alternative lyrics to it, just to entertain yourself. Like, my butt is tight, and my balls are wet.
Why does it always go to butts and balls and penises and fingers and mouths?
That's
And
Greg, man.
my wife's like, fucking, and then she turns it off. I'm like, fuck yeah.
This is just normal. Like after almost 5 years of podcasting with Greg, he talks about dicks and butts and
Dicks and butts.
Stuff being wet.
Butt stuff and wet.
He's from a
moist.
different generation. And we,
But yeah, like my
we
favorite.
accept that. It's Gen X stuff, you know? They're all about dicks and butts.
Well, you guys aren't Gen X?
We're old millennial. I'm like an old millennial.
Oh, man.
I'm 47.
I'm
dude,
1 year
so-
outside of being
45.
a millennial. Yeah.
We're 70s kids.
I'm at
I
the
consider
old,
myself a
I'm at the
millennial, but I'm
old
not.
end of millennial.
I would say I'm an 80s kid, even though I was born in 73.
Yeah.
When things became relevant that were pop culture and that I started paying attention to, and the skateboards that I skated on, and the music that I was listening to, and the styles, I would definitely say early 80s.
Yeah, 83, 84 is kind of
You
my
know,
wheelhouse.
Little Powell and Peralta was just
I'm a
coming
90s
through,
kid, definitely. Like,
and
I-
hence the pop punk.
I did not. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. I'm a 90s kid. So, getting off track here.
Yeah, what do you think of this beer?
Hold
But,
on, hold on.
I just want to
Hear me out. Pup punk.
Pup punk.
Pup punk.
Yeah, like you make a band and you have like Betty and you have some other ones up there. And
You just jump around the whole time.
He's like, hear me out. Okay.
hear me out, John.
Okay.
Heard out. That's heard.
And then you have like overdub with like I want to be sedated, and it's
Okay.
just
Yeah. I want to drink this beer, though, dude.
oh man.
Okay, I'm going to
bro.
wrap up my thoughts on Christmas or on holiday beers. I love pumpkin ale from Dogfish Head. It's my favorite pumpkin beer, and this is my favorite
That's pretty
Christmas beer. Okay, now go.
All right. It's a nice deep copper color. Little bit of a dusting of foam still hanging out.
It's like an amber ale, basically.
Yeah,
is what
for sure.
it looks like, and kind of. I think that might be like the baseline beer for this, or maybe like a brown ale. Kind of
Actually, it seems lighter than past years to me. It's in
in the color.
the color.
Okay.
On the nose, I get some like banana peel, not banana itself, but like a blackened sort of like an overripe.
Dude,
But it tastes amazing. It doesn't come across like a banana
Toasted
ester.
notes. Toasted notes.
I noticed-
I don't
nuts.
believe we've had this since we did the vintage ones a few years ago. I don't think we've had it since then on the show.
I've got a 1991. I guarantee you that it's not good, but we can drink it together.
We did a 95 on the
And
show.
it held up.
no, are you talking about that or the Celebration? We did Celebration, not Christmas ale.
No, we did
No, we did a bunch.
three bottles of Christmas
Oh,
ale.
did
It
we?
was like 95, 98, and
Okay.
like 05.
Because I
They
have
were all
old Celebration too. That's old Celebration's fucking good, dude.
This
No,
is
there's
the
I used to.
44th
There's
year.
a beer writer for Celebrator a long time ago. His name was Don, and he would come to the Los Angeles or the Long Beach Grand Prix every year. and at the Rock Bottom in Long Beach, he had stored 7 or 8 or 10 years of celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And every year at the Grand Prix, he would come, and I would get invited, and he'd go get 1 bottle of each. And it got to the point where we're drinking like 14 or 15 years of celebration now. And you'd be surprised. Some that are 2 years old weren't that great, and some that were 7 or 8 years old were amazing.
They turn a corner, yeah.
It's weird. But
this is a great beer, though.
Say something.
This is fantastic.
This beer.
This might be the best beer we've had all day.
Oh, the banana note that you said. We got a question on our Facebook page from someone that wanted like holiday beer recommendations, and this was one I recommended. And I said specifically, it has like a Belgian kind of nose to it, and I think you saying that banana character,
peel.
Yeah, the banana peel, that kind of, I don't know, feeds into that Belgian character on the nose.
Yeah, it's a little spiciness.
It smells delicious.
Toasted nuts too, like freshly toasting nuts.
I get a little bit of that pine thing. A lot of people talk about how they get like the pine from the hops, and I get it a little bit, but I think I get more of that yeast character than anything else in this beer.
Yeah,
and like the spice too. I can't really nail the. It's like an allspice kind of thing, but it's nothing that they deliberately added like as a spice. You know what I mean? It's a characteristic of.
Don't they add spice to it every year?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Do they? What's the bottle say?
I mean,
it says the recipe changes every year is pretty much what they say.
Okay.
And then it talks about a tree for a while.
Then there's a tree.
The tree changes on the label too.
The tree this year is a Korean pine.
I actually have a
Korean pine, bro.
framed poster of the 30-year poster from Anchor
trees?
with all the trees. It's really cool.
One of the coolest things in their tasting room is they have like all the years up above the bar. That in their cool like vintage bar thing they have set up.
Who owns them now?
Oh, that was
Fuji
it
Water?
was it was a San Diego
Japanese company.
No,
I
it's
think.
like
And then
Fuji Water or
they sold it
Sky
to-
Vodka.
They sold it to a Japanese. The people who I think they own
A
other
Monoguchi
Japanese-
fish heavy manufacturing concern.
Yeah. How did you know?
It's Sapporo.
Sapporo. There you go.
It might
Sapporo bottom.
I'm thinking it's
all right.
Cueto.
All right.
It's Sapporo.
It's Sapporo.
Is it? Okay,
I looked it up. Yeah.
Gotcha. I was thinking Cueto.
This beer is still delicious, and God bless Anchorstein for their Liberty Ale and changing my life. That was a big beer for me.
Yeah, this. I mean,
I would recommend their brewery. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but their brewery, you have to schedule in advance to tour it, but it really felt like going into the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory of breweries. And I've been to like a million breweries, but their brewery is really cool and weird.
The whole Sapporo buying them out thing, like they're such an old brand, like that's been owned by so many different.
I think
people.
there's their 5th owner.
Yeah, and like everything they make comes out of San Francisco. Like they make all of their beer. It's not being. There's a little knob on there. There you go.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay.
Just working on trying to figure out my mic. It's show 3 and still can't figure out the fucking mic.
Good.
You got it.
But yeah, everything you get on the shelf from Anchor is from Anchor. So
And they're still using their cement.
It's coming from Anchor.
Huge old fermentation rooms.
I'm assuming, yeah.
No, it's fantastic, and it's just we should all cheers right now to Fritz Maytag.
Cheers.
For somebody
Fritz.
that had some foresight to really start a revolution again in California to make great craft beer.
Yep.
Happy Merry Christmas, Fritz.
Happy Christmas.
Stuff like that.
I met Fritz at one of the CCBA things, the first one, and he made fun of my camera. So it was white.
Oh, the Stormtrooper camera.
They're,
Why is your camera white? And I was like, "You're Fritz Maytag."
Just the fact that they naturally carbonate freaking Anchor steam.
And they ferment in these long, giant, huge, open, shallow vats.
Yeah, which is amazing to see because they have the big glass window where
Just
you
like
can oversee
what
it.
the fuck,
Just
man?
this giant like foam.
I'm like
monstrosity.
I don't even want to open the any part of my tank once it's sanitized and it's all sealed inside, and they're just like, dude, there's a room. You can go in, dude, just put on a clean suit.
It's like, what's in that closet? Hops, man. And just like a closet full of hops. You're like, they're opening with a snow shovel.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck's going on? This place rules.
Yeah, going back to this beer though, it's for me.
God, mine's gone. It's delicious.
It's got a traditional Anchor quality to it. Like their beers all have this same characteristic when it comes to, I think it's the yeast and the open fermentation
Fruity ester
makes their beer unique. And this beer specifically reminds me of Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday of the year. I like that it's cold outside, Southern California cold outside. I get to wear a
60.
hoodie. Yeah, it's great.
Hoodie and
I get to
shorts.
wear a hoodie and drink darker beers that make me feel good. It gets darker like sooner at 5 o'clock at night. I just love everything about December. So
You get presents.
this beer reminds me about how much
it
I
gives you-
love the holidays.
It gives you, but that's something like a song or a scent. A beer can also really bring forth an emotional response.
Yep, and that's what this beer does.
You
It's,
know.
it's a fantastic beer.
And
too.
then it's just like a coffee drink or whatever. You can already start to get that emotional response just knowing that you're going to open it.
These
Just
beers
knowing
are,
that, not even knowing that you're
when I
just
saw it on the
knowing-
shelf,
yeah,
I was
just-
like, oh,
you already right, and then
Sweet.
just having it in the fridge. You don't have to open it; it's in the fridge.
yeah. Like I said, it came out at the beginning of October, and I got home and opened it immediately. I'm like, I don't care. I'm drinking this right now.
The one thing you know you're going to get when you get an Anchor beer is something like very drinkable. Like they don't make harsh or like punishing. Their beers aren't challenging per se. Like they're interesting, but they're always going to have like a drinkability to them that I really appreciate.
Anchor's product.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, when I first started drinking beer, to get a hold of an Anchor Porter, I was stoked. They were delicious. I mean, I know I'm sorry, I'm a stutterer. I start to get so overwhelmed with
okay.
this.
so good.
They were another. There's a St. Stan's, which was in Modesto. There was Anchor. There was Sierra Nevada. And I'm just trying to think of the California breweries that I was drinking in 1994 when I turned 21.
I mean, yeah, Sierra Nevada Pale and Anchor,
we were lucky
that
to
was
get
about it.
right. We had to drink Oregon beers. We had to drink Deschutes, Rogue, Full Sail, Bridgeport. And we can't
Imports.
these people don't even people today that go to the store don't even know what these beers are. They don't
Yeah.
exist here in Southern California anymore. But
Even when I started
unachievable.
Even when I started getting into craft beer, I feel like Rogue was a huge presence on the shelf in like 05 or whatever when I started doing
Yeah,
this.
in 05, Rogue was still a huge presence on the shelf.
Yeah.
And also the best sculpin that was ever made was about then. It's kind of just ever since then just kind of gone down a little
I've
bit.
got a lot of opinions about Sculpin.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you probably have a lot of opinions about a lot of shit.
Jason's the Sculpin.
Yeah, no, I was like a
Jedi Master.
I was like the number 2 on Untapped check-ins for Sculpin and everything. It was like my all-time favorite beer. So I'm with you that it definitely is not.
I drank it when it had to be driven up from Homebrew Mart, and I tasted it, and I almost wanted to give up beer. It was like, this is so friggin' good. This is I don't even know how this is achievable. And it's it's the $1 billion beer.
Every so often in my Facebook,
But it's not. It doesn't taste what it like. It didn't. If it tasted today like it tasted then, I'd still buy it.
Yeah, I doubt it does.
I still
No,
get
it
a Facebook
doesn't.
memory every so often of the tan label bomber of it,
Yeah.
from like 08 or
Old school.
something. Yeah, they'd be like, "Remember this?" And I'm like, "I do."
But it's beer memory is funny, right? Because it doesn't really matter. I've got cool beer bottles from when I was young, and like I said, I went out and drank everything I could. That just also happened to coincide with right at the exact time that Blind Pig and Temecula opened up. And I've got all these crazy bottles of weird random shit that I drank from Blind Pig. I don't remember them.
Yeah.
It was
a good time.
It was a good time.
Good time in history.
So that's all of a sudden I started having less value on worrying about saving this can, and a whole lot more value on hanging out.
Yeah, I don't still have the bottle. It just pops up on my
I bet
Facebook
you,
memory.
you keep that thing tucked away.
Keep it.
The
No,
bottle
no.
walks out of the closet. Remember me?
It's a technology.
I've got too many full bottles in my goddamn closet that I need to drink.
Well, then,
All right. So
We got some Sally.
moving on, we are drinking Celebration IPA from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. This is, if you're going to have a Christmas beer show, it's got to be.
It's got to
part of
have
it,
celebration.
right? It's a fresh hop IPA. We've said this before. They use whole cone hops exclusively in the brewery, but this one is fresh whole cone hops. And it's a tasty brew. It holds up well over time. We've talked about this too. I think last year on our Christmas show, we opened one of my older Celebration bottles, and it was well, I'm not gonna say it was better than the fresh, but like it was a really, really good beer. Like it wasn't the same beer as Fresh Celebration, but it was good.
Unique in that way because there's very few hop forward or IPA type beers. Although I don't think they still don't market this as they do fresh hop IPA.
You would think that it would just turn into an oxidized mess.
No, but it doesn't.
And it doesn't.
It gets sweet, but it doesn't. As the hops fall out, it gets a little sweet, but it doesn't. It's not off-putting. It's actually rewarding when you think of it in the way of that. It's a holiday beer. You're not trying to drink this on a summer day, and you have a positive attitude toward that. As it develops in the bottle, I've noticed that it doesn't necessarily oxidize or get off flavors. It does develop.
Yeah, it
does.
does.
For alcohol content that's this low,
it's almost 7%, so it's
still.
But
it
for
cellaring, has pretty good staying power.
On the cellaring side of things, like 7% is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Sierra Nevada has a really solid lab program that knows when things are going out to packaging, kind of they're like 0.0009 parts per billion of DO that are going into their bottles.
Right.
Yeah,
like
and
they're really good.
I take that for granted too, like how scientific, like, and how much thought they put into their beers, and it makes sense why they hold up so well over time. Even beers that are, bottles that I have that are 15 years old. I mean, I'm sure they didn't have the same instruments that they use now to detect all that, but still they had to put the same quality and care into packaging those beers because they were still going out to a very large market.
And you have to think about the fact that Sierra Nevada has always been a front runner, a creator, an inventor, an innovator, and the technologies that they have, including being able to put antioxidants in beer and doing and the speed at which they're able to bottle 15 years ago it's not the same. I mean, and that these beers are still holding up. The commitment,
that's very true.
The commitment to quality that this company has maintained since the beginning is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try this beer 10 years from now to see, now that it's,
it tastes
everything
just the
is just
same.
so scientific and like precise.
Can we just hold on to this and then edit in 10 years and then be like, it turns out
put a thing on
good.
a Google Calendar.
If
for
we're
10
still a
years
show
from
in
now.
10 years, that'll be amazing.
Well, that's a reunion show.
that'll
We'll
be
get back
awesome.
together or something. But
Get the 4Bs back together.
But as far as this fresh beer goes, it's I mean it's celebration ale, right? It doesn't really change. It's got like a piney nose on it. It's definitely more of a malt forward IPA, I think, than their other IPAs that they do, and that's on purpose. It's intentional because it's
I really like the maltiness of it. I think
it goes well with the season.
I perceive the flavor of it as kind of like a raspberry, like hard candy.
It's also, I'm curious how much it's changed over time, but it's also a recipe that was developed in 1981, right? So
Tasting a little bit of history.
really, really hoppy for 1981. To us, we might say, well, that's really malt forward, but by 1981 standards, it's probably hoppy as hell.
I mean, it's hoppy, like definitely, but in the grander scheme of things and where we are now with hoppy beers, you taste more of like a caramel malt thing.
For sure,
And
for sure.
I think that's what I'm focusing on when I say it's malty, but it's definitely got like a nice bitter
I would
edge
definitely
to it.
describe it as malty.
But it's at the same time, people describe sometimes they describe my beers as malty, and I don't want to like. There's a difference between malt character and malty.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Yeah,
You can get a lot of malt character. This beer's got a lot of malt character.
Yeah.
But I do not consider it a malty beer. This is a hoppy beer.
It's balanced towards hop.
This is balanced. It finishes clean. A lot of malt character. A lot of rich malt flavors, caramelized. A lot of things going on that are complex on that side, not just the hop side.
That's what I'm saying.
But
and
that it finishes crisp instead of cloying.
It's a bad word to say malty. It
is a bad word.
It's the characteristics of the malts
Same with hoppy.
that shine
Right.
more than the actual maltiness of the malts. It's the caramel.
It's got a great
stuff.
malt character. It's got great caramel flavors. But because I only say it because
No, you're right.
sometimes
you're absolutely right.
the
too.
word malty, especially to someone that's just starting to get into craft beer and they're not quite sure, that can be very intimidating. Oh, I don't want a malty beer. Mm-hmm. It because they want a hoppy beer. They want to be a hop head or whatever, and it's like it's an unfair. Like I'll say something is malty. Moose Drool, that's a malty beer.
Yeah.
Brown Sugar, that's a malty beer.
A wee heavy.
You know, that's
no, that's
where
a good thing that you point that out because it's totally incorrect to say it's a malty beer. It's definitely the malt characteristics. The grain bill shines
has beautiful
more in this beer.
and bright malt characteristics.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But yeah, overall though, this again, it's the holidays, and at least for me, this beer is an essential. So
absolutely, I just had it off on tap at Stereo Brewing Company a couple weeks ago.
Shout out.
And yep. And absolutely I didn't know I was going to even have another one. Like I said, I don't go buy beer. So, but thank you for sharing that with me. But
because you can't afford it because you own a brewery, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But Jared over there at Tustin Brewing is like, hey man, can I get you anything else? Can I get you anything else?
Can I get you a nail, pal?
Like,
hey pal, can I get you a nail?
Hey pal, can I get you anything else? And you just have to say yes.
Jared's awesome, man.
He is awesome.
Like 4 pints deep, and you're like, can I get you anything? I was like, yeah, I'll take another fucking beer, I guess. Yeah, fucking A. Give me some tacos.
Wait, you need an old world?
Give me some tacos. Yeah.
You need an old world? Yeah, brew one. Come on, pull it together, Jared.
So next up isn't, okay, so this is the Lost Abbey on Knoll Day Abbey. I think this is a new beer. I haven't seen
I've never had it
before, but I think Kim at La Bodega told me this is the second or third time they've put it out.
Never heard of it.
I've just never seen it. It's a brown ale. I've never had it, obviously, because I've never seen it.
I think making a brown ale today is a bold move.
I feel like Lost Abbey is definitely one of the breweries that's still kind of like they're doing their thing their way, and they've been doing their thing their way since they've
fuck off.
Yeah, like Lost Abbey is definitely one of those breweries that is pretty resistant to chasing trends. This beer is a winter warmer brewed to be lighter in body while maintaining nuanced notes of oak.
It's got a really pronounced oak character on the nose. Oh my god, the oak on there is like fresh.
It's absolutely, it smells wonderful.
Greg, I want you to read this story about a gnome from the side.
Yeah, your voice is going to do it.
Here we go. If my eyes can read. Mischievous merrymakers, it must be tough to be a gnome. We feel bad for them. We really do. Every December, they get trotted out of the box and put on a shelf to remind them of Christmas cheer. It's amazing they can be so happy after spending almost a year in a box tucked away in the attic. But look at them. We've convinced they're the ultimate party animals and whatever. Dude, oh my god.
What are they doing?
It's about the elf on the shelf.
Also, gnomes and elves are different.
Like, I don't put a gnome on the shelf, bro.
You know, I can't wait to listen to that.
But yeah, wood.
The wood on the nose.
Okay, so what is the description? What is the character? What are we drinking?
It's a winter warmer brewed to be lighter in body while maintaining nuanced notes of oak. Beginning with aromas of freshly brewed espresso, Knoll has hints of cocoa, vanilla, and holiday spice, finishing with a crisp coffee bitterness. It's a holiday brown ale.
I think the nose is boozy.
It's 8.5, so...
I get more wood than...
The wood is just so woody.
But that's what I mean. I literally smell like a bourbon stave.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's more wood, though, than...
For sure, but
barrel character.
Absolutely. A lot of wood.
Yeah, it's definitely just like a...
Greg probably loves
wood.
It. He likes a lot of wood in his mouth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like Pinocchio's nose.
Fingers.
Just stick it in.
I don't want it to taste how it smells, though. Like, I don't want to taste like...
Fortunately, it doesn't.
Wood. Okay.
Oh, I think it's nice.
That's pretty good.
That finishes with a lot,
like that.
a lot of spice on the
It's very bright.
Really? What
Bright,
kind of
spicy?
like?
Again, like we were saying, it's not cloying. It finishes. It cleans up. You know, it's okay to take another sip.
It pinches the sphincter on the flavor.
It does.
God damn it.
Yeah, it just tightens. It just
Tightens it up.
Yep,
and then it's
just
gone.
drops it. Just drops it clean.
Ass sphincter says what?
Just clean.
Third choke,
says
fourth
what?
choke.
No wet wipe needed.
Right.
What kind of spice are you getting, Jason?
Like that... I'm getting the finish, like it still lingers there in an aftertaste, where it's that kind of like...
Because they point out cocoa, coffee, and spice.
I guess it's kind of a
vanilla.
coffee thing, but it's almost more like that like holiday all spicy, like fruitcake kind of
Fruitcake. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Nutty, woody, fruitcake.
I'm just curious because
For me, I'm not getting that
that's
cleanup. It's hanging out on my palate.
I'm actually,
Okay.
I'm actually getting a little bit of like sourness from it.
Yeah, it's a little tart.
Tartness.
Really?
You know, with a lot of stuff
I
from
think it's
from
a
them,
oak, maybe.
you get like raisins or dates or you know
Yeah.
Yeah, dark fruits.
here I'm not getting that as much. But and there is some sort of I don't know, do Greg's thing. What are you supposed to do? Plug your nose or breathe out hard.
Oh yeah, just
I'm
put it in
getting
your mouth.
there's something in the finish that's a little tart to me.
Yeah.
You can taste sour.
maybe that's
It's
a tannic
it's
thing, like because that
French oak,
wood
maybe.
character is kind of coming through on the flavor too.
It helps it clean up. It helps
For
it,
me, I think this has a really neutral yeast character. Like this is malty.
This is malty.
I mean, it's got like
For
a
sure,
nice.
malty.
It's very soft, and I get the cocoa kind of chocolate vibe. Vanilla, not so much, and maybe if I do, it's from the wood. But for the Lost Abbey, I think this is a very neutral, like middle of the road kind of beer, but it's good for what it is. It's a winter warmer. It's almost 9%.
It reminds me if somebody were to like
good.
homebrew their own version of Coca-Cola and then put it in a barrel.
What? I think that's
No, I can see that. Yeah.
I can kind
Coca-Cola?
of I don't necessarily disagree with that.
really. I
Yeah.
don't get that. Oh man.
Wow.
That sounds
it's like you
gross.
like made your homebrew Coke
I'm
out
not.
of like if you got all the ingredients to what made the original Coke and then tried to make it yourself
And then put it in a barrel.
and then
I
barrel
feel like you
aged
guys
it.
are on a different.
Tastes almost like Coke to me now that
It's
he
not
says
hidden
that.
in a
Right?
good
Yeah,
place.
it's got that same
Really?
sort of mouthfeel
Yeah.
as Coke.
Yeah, throw some Spiriva in there, and we're on.
Well,
Reminds me a little bit of Ladera Cola, to be honest, without the lime.
but truthfully, it's not. It's that I don't say that in any sort of unpleasantry.
I think it's
It's-
enjoyable though.
It's not that it's unpleasant.
think
It's
it's all right.
just that it. And honestly, I got such a richness and a full flavored aroma experience when I first drank it. But when I went back in for the second and third and fourth, it didn't translate as much.
I think it needs more. Definitely, like it's kind of boring, and I'm not sure how much I paid
Well,
for
they
this
said
beer.
light bodied too, and it's like a
Yeah.
winter warmer. You want a little bit of a body to it. Like it could use just a smidge more of a boil on it. Or something.
Does Anderson Valley still make a winter warmer?
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think so.
I haven't bought one
I
of
would
the beers
assume.
forever.
I actually
know-
bought Anderson Valley beer for the first time in a long time.
Really?
What'd you buy?
The Blood Orange Goza. But
I'd like to try.
I just haven't
I
bought
always like their summer solstice beer and their winter beer. I don't know. I
What
might
am I
look
thinking
in
of from Anderson Valley that I like?
Hot Button,
No,
Barney Flats.
I can't think of the beer.
Well,
Goes?
yeah, he'd probably like
The
Barney
Goza?
Flats because he's a oat monger.
Yeah, I'm the oat guy. Yeah.
like a horse, we just stick a bag of oats to John's face and
He's like, oh,
Nah.
Well,
it's like he's eating ass.
you've never seen me eat ass, sir.
You have no idea
It's
what
like
I
a
look
bag of
like
oats.
technique.
Just,
I'm pretty sure we've watched you like reenact it on late some evening after
Probably
a tiki
have,
bar
yeah.
or something.
spreading cheeks and then
I mean, there's not much to it. It's just tongue action.
Just it's not much to it. You just have to be committed.
Yeah, you got to be committed to.
As long as
looking
you
that
believe
ass.
in yourself.
Just commit, dude. Exactly.
Okay, so next up, we've done West Veteran 12 on the show before. I think 2 times, but not today. We're doing St.
I've never
Bernardus.
had it. I have a bottle and I've never drank it.
St. Bernardus 12. And from everything we've all heard, and if you haven't heard, basically this is the West E12 recipe, but just brewed by St. Bernardus.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it's easier to get, obviously, because you don't have to go to a fucking monastery
You
to
don't have to
get
blow a monk.
the fucking beer. You can just get it on the shelf. So
I gotta blow a monk over here to get a triple.
Do you need me to get? Do you need me to get you one?
a Westie?
Yeah,
I have some in my closet,
I'm sure you do.
but I'll take some more if you got it.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I just have a. There's just another Rick Smets. He lives in Holland, and he sent me a bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just was not very many Rick Smets, and so I was like, "Hey, what's up, Rick Smets? You live in Holland?" He's like, "What's up, Rick Smets?" And then I said, "Hey, can you get this beer?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he went and got it and sent it to me.
It's a weird story.
It's cool, you know. Turns
Rick
out
Smets
just
of the world,
turns out
unite.
just because of that, he's named his kid after me.
That's amazing.
I see what you did there.
No, but he really did name his kid after.
Pour your beer.
I would give my left testy for a little pour of that Westie.
Left testy for a little Westie.
Little Westie
Greg's your
testy.
new marketing manager.
Little monk testy.
I picked this beer. It's not. I don't think this is necessarily a Christmas beer, but
Ooh.
St. Bernardus makes a Christmas beer that we've had on the show before, and I didn't want to. I mean, that's I don't know, too easy. So I've never had this beer.
It's red.
Neither have I.
Oh, you never had the ABT 12?
I don't. Well, no. I maybe on New Beer Thursday we did have it, but I haven't had it since then. So
Would you assume the color's from long boil or candy sugar or both?
I would assume both. But it's beautiful. I mean, I wish I had a thinner glass so I can really see the hue. But you can see that it's a reddish golden copper.
It's a copper, brown, dark
Amber,
copper, I'd say.
Yeah, but in this glass, it's just shining off so beautifully red.
That smells good, man.
It smells like baked goods.
It's so weird when I look over at Greg, and if we're wearing that. See, we're all talking to microphones, wearing headphones.
Yeah.
So when I look over at Greg, it sounds like you're right behind me. When I look over at you, he sounds like he's right behind me.
Oh,
What's up?
weird.
Yeah,
I'm always behind you.
I know.
That's Greg's secret.
It's
Always behind you, bro.
It's really cool. You know, we this would be a different show, right?
Somebody's right.
So we are sitting just in some really neat little studio. we're about 16 beers in.
Hashtag when the craft beer hits.
Are we?
Where were you with the craft beer?
All right. Like, you should look. You should see the walls.
Oh, good guys.
Look, that one's pink.
So good.
The lights are crazy in here, man. Oh, God,
Such a great fucking
Look,
moment.
turkey tastes like ass. Good thing I love eating ass. What the fuck is that, dude?
It's the motherfucking share zone.
All right. He's referring to a photo in the chat. So if you're not in the chat.
I'm sorry.
So good. I'm crying.
Oh, man.
Oh, goddamn St. Bernardus.
Okay, so can I see the bottle?
Yeah, it's right here. You can tell this guy's eating ass right there.
Oh,
Shit.
man, we just got mood lighting. It's
Wait
like
for it. Oh, whoa.
Dude, the monk on that bottle's eating some ass.
oh, dude, he's happy.
I would be too.
There's a simple life.
I like how he's holding this big ass gauntlet of beer with like his little teeny finger.
What's up, bro?
It's skills, man. He's got the skills.
Okay, so this is 10 ABV.
ABV.
Alcohol by volume, dude.
Yeah, the volumes.
And turns out that it's a product of Belgium, and it's 11.2 ounces.
All right, so I mean, I could open a Westie if you want to compare.
Fuck no.
But
It
I
just
think,
tastes like cardboard.
from what I remember, this
save
tastes
this.
like a fresh version of the Westie 12s that I have.
This is really good.
It's really good. Like huge caramel notes.
This is what Westie tastes like, non-oxidized.
Kind of like that same Belgian
This is
nose I
delicious.
kind of got on the Anchor Christmas beer. Like not as much banana peel, like Greg pointed out, but it's not like super huge like Belgian nose.
But it's a very big brown sugary flavor.
It has
Yep.
it has a very, very full mouth.
yeah.
Baked goods.
It's like brown
Yeah.
sugar, but there's a little bit of something kind of offsetting it to where it's not just sweetness hitting your palate. It's like a little cloviness, I think.
There's all kinds of strange, sort of exotic flavors away from American style ales for sure. It's so rich and deep and full bodied. I mean,
if Matt Becker were here, I think he'd say it's very lip schmacky. Like it's got like a nice sugary.
Here, this one's for you, Matt. It's very lip schmacky.
It's got like a nice I don't know, sticky body going on.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it fills the whole mouth, and I get a lot
It's very coaty.
I get a lot of roof of my mouth instead of tongue. As far as
Absolutely, yeah. I agree with that.
I love the carbonation on it, too. It's got a really nice body to it.
It's very clearly even though it's big in alcohol, I think it's a very balanced beer, and
it's almost like I'm drinking it upside down. It's like it goes up the roof of my mouth and like goes over my tongue.
It's one of those things where you really do see the results of like, hey, we've spent a century refining and making this perfect, and like it's just. And kind of to talk about what I think we talked about on one of the earlier shows, it's one of those beers that as you go through a more than just a little bit of it, you kind of find more every time you sip it. It's really an interesting beer to drink.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy some of this for Christmas and put them in stockings.
They put them in. They have it in a big bottle, right?
Yeah, you can get that big 1.5 liter.
Big fuck off bottle.
Yeah.
Have you guys had the La Chouffe?
Yep.
Which one? The
holiday one, the one where he's got a
know if
Santa
we've-
hat on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've had it on the show on Four Brewers.
I don't think
I don't think we've had it
done
on Four Brewers now, but I've had it in life.
Oh, that's
It's good IRL.
But yeah, I think even though this isn't a holiday beer, it fits in well with the whole theme of the beers I picked.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal.
I
beer,
agree,
man.
but at the same time that you do say that, I don't know if I would drink this beer all year round.
I
no, I
probably
want
wouldn't
to.
either.
I feel like it's Christmas Day. I want to open this beer.
Yeah, it's definitely a
But
colder
then
weather.
it's a treat.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know, it's an exceptionally made beer that's a treat. That's why I agree that it belongs in this category. You know, it's something that you would indulge in especially being a Californian,
yeah.
that you'd indulge in at this time.
Yep. And I think as far as accessibility goes, you know, Westie obviously is difficult to get unless they, you know, the rare times that they do send it to the States. And
When
this
they need
is,
more money.
yeah, this is just on the shelf. All you know,
and there's an argument to be made that the rating of that beer is specifically inflated because it's hard to get.
yeah.
Like, I think didn't we?
Well, there has to
It wasn't it in a showdown or something.
We
There
did
has-
like a quad showdown, didn't we?
I know.
There has to
Yeah.
be a best, right? So might as well make it something that's completely inaccessible, that's completely random, and that's just made at one place in a small abbey in the smallest country in Europe.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Then it's like that. It's hard
a good beer, though.
Nobody really can contest it. Like, what are you gonna do? Go out there and be like, "This isn't it."
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Jason's like he said, we did some kind of showdown where Westie was on there, and it came in, I think, mid to low on like whatever.
Was
we
it
were doing.
blind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It was cool. No, we
It
did
was-
like a.
what was that?
I think we just did a blind thing.
Oh, wasn't that when I pulled it out like for my blind beer?
Yep.
Like, yeah, that's what it was. I'm
Where
pretty
we
sure
did
that's what it was.
we do a game on the show where we bring a blind beer and we have to try and guess what it is.
And then
And that
it
was
looks
one of
like you
them. We're like,
you
I have no
guys
idea what
did
it
an
is.
episode when I was gone where you did a bunch of Belgians and Westie was in there too.
Okay,
Mm.
maybe that was it too.
You did like Duvel and La Trappe and Westmalle, Rochefort.
I think point is Westie's
Yeah.
it's a solid beer. Like, it's a good beer. I would definitely buy it, and if someone had a bottle
For
of
$100
Since
a
I've
bottle,
never
though.
since I've never tasted it, would you say it's very reminiscent of this?
yeah, this is better. I think only because it's fresh
And
Like-
accessible?
Yeah, I mean it
And
tastes
it's-
good.
and it's cheaper too.
The legend is that they used to be made by the same people at the same place, and then they broke off. But
I thought it was that they only made it with the tears of babies.
Tears
but
of
like
monk tears.
Monk's tears.
I'm badly paraphrasing the story, but
Yeah.
the long story short is basically it used to be that the same people made both of these beers, and then one of them split off, but they're both still making the same beer.
Yeah.
Is basically the gist of the recipe.
Trappists are like, I am more pious than you.
Right?
And I think
You know?
I think there's I don't know if it's just with 12. It could be a different beer, but there's they do different labels where in one the monk is winking on the
Oh.
label.
Because he's telling you.
We should
it's
call
like
that one the Winking Monk.
It's a fun
right?
game. Like, you can look for the
He
winking
told
monk.
you.
But I
He's
think it's in
telling you
the 750s.
Is that like when you
He's
find a
like-
star on your Tootsie Roll or Tootsie Pop and you get another one for free?
You know, they say that, but it's never worked for me.
My ice cream man were cool, so
My ice cream man sold weed.
You actually got one for free?
too.
All
Well, that was a good flight, man.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you want to say. Happy Hanukkah.
Are you, how much time do we have left on this show?
We're pretty much wrapping it up. Why?
Oh, I don't know.
We got one more.
We got one more show after this.
All right, I just got more beers.
All
Yeah,
right, well,
yeah.
we
Hey, that's
got
an
one more
extra.
show, so we're good to go.
Well, we got a few more beers, a couple more beers at least.
And we're going to drink them.
All right.
If you want to find Four Brewers online, you can go to fourbrewers.com.
Yeah.
Check us out on YouTube, support us on Patreon, and rate us in your favorite podcast app. Brew the shit out of it.
Now, what do you say? Brew the shit out of it.
Suckers.
Good job, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Holiday outro.
That's loud.
It worked out pretty. It sounded good. That when he did it when we were. Oh, it just worked out good. He did a good job with that.
Thanks.